Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating history, cultural importance, and numismatic legacy of the 1 anna coin, a small yet incredibly significant piece of coinage that played a vital role in the everyday economic life of the Indian subcontinent during the British colonial era, long before the modern decimal system came into existence. Because the anna system was based on a complex structure where 1 rupee was divided into 16 annas, and each anna was further subdivided into 4 pièces, making the 1 anna coin a core unit of trade for millions of people across India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Burma during the 19th and 20th centuries. And this coin was not merely a medium of exchange but a symbol of imperial administration, economic control, and cultural blending between British authority and Indian craftsmanship. As the earliest 1 anna coins were introduced under the East India Company in the early 1800s following their consolidation of power after the Battle of Plassey, and these early issues reflected a mixture of Mughal-inspired designs and British inscriptions, which gradually evolved into more standardized imperial designs as the British Crown took direct control of India in 1858, transforming the coinage system into one that projected stability, authority, and uniformity across a vast and diverse territory. And the 1 anna coin was struck in large quantities to meet the needs of daily commerce, used by farmers, traders, laborers, shopkeepers, and households for buying food, paying wages, settling debts, and conducting routine transactions, making it one of the most circulated coins of its time. And when we look at its physical characteristics, the 1 anna coin typically measured around 25 to 26 millimeters in diameter, larger than many lower denomination coins, giving it a solid presence in hand, while its composition varied over time, initially struck in copper during the early issues and later transitioning to bronze during the reign of Queen Victoria to improve durability and reduce costs. And this change in metal also reflected global shifts in minting technology and economic policy, while the obverse designs evolved significantly depending on the reigning monarch, beginning with a youthful portrait of Queen Victoria facing left with inscriptions like Victoria Queen, and later Victoria Empress, after 1876 when she was proclaimed Empress of India, followed by the crowned and veiled portraits during her later years, each version marking a specific historical period and helping collectors today accurately date the coin, while the reverse side usually featured the denomination 1 anna, prominently in English along with Persian or later Devanagari script, surrounded by decorative wreaths, floral motifs, or simple circular borders that balanced aesthetics with clarity for a largely multilingual population, and these bilingual inscriptions were crucial in making the coin usable across regions with different languages and literacy levels, showing how coinage was adapted to local realities while still asserting imperial identity. And the 1 anna coin was minted at several important mints including Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras, with mint marks subtly placed below the date or within the design, such as the C for Calcutta, B for Bombay, and M for Madras, which today play a crucial role in determining rarity and collector interest, because certain years and mint combinations had lower production numbers due to economic downturns, wars, or administrative changes. And beyond its technical aspects, the 1 anna coin also witnessed some of the most important chapters of South Asian history, circulating during events like the Indian Rebellion of 1857, the expansion of railways, the rise of nationalist movements, World War I, and the gradual push toward independence, silently passing through countless hands while the world around it changed dramatically. And even during the early 20th century, when inflation and rising costs reduced its purchasing power, the 1 anna coin remained deeply embedded in daily life, appearing in proverbs, market slang, and household budgeting, which shows how money is not just an economic tool but a cultural artifact. And as we explore this coin further, understanding its origins, design evolution, and historical context helps us appreciate why such a modest denomination holds such immense value for collectors, historians, and anyone fascinated by the story of coins that shaped everyday life for generations. The 1 anna coin occupies a deeply important place in the monetary and social history of the Indian subcontinent because it functioned not merely as small change but as an everyday symbol of empire, trade, and daily survival for millions of people across British India, where the anna system structured commerce long before decimalization, with 16 annas making 1 rupee and each anna further divided into pièces and pies, creating a complex yet widely understood currency hierarchy that governed markets, wages, taxation, and household spending from bustling port cities like Bombay and Calcutta to rural villages and princely states. And the 1 anna coin itself became one of the most frequently handled coins of its era, circulating relentlessly through tea stalls, railway platforms, grain markets, and colonial administrative offices, absorbing the wear of countless transactions that today helps collectors gauge authenticity and period use, while its production reflected the Technological evolution of British minting operations, as early issues were struck in copper and later transitioned to bronze alloys to improve durability and reduce costs, with weights, diameters, and edge styles carefully standardized to maintain public confidence, and the coin's obverse design often featured the reigning British monarch, ranging from Queen Victoria to King George V and George VI. Each portrait rendered with changing artistic styles that mirrored shifts in imperial identity. From the youthful realism of Victoria's early busts to the stern, authoritative profiles of later kings meant to project stability and control during times of global upheaval, while the reverse design, typically bearing the denomination in English alongside Persian, Urdu, or regional scripts, reinforced the colonial administration's need to communicate value across linguistic boundaries, making the 1 anna coin an educational artifact as much as a financial instrument, and its mint marks, such as dots, diamonds, or letters placed discreetly beneath the date, reveal where the coin was struck, whether at the Calcutta Mint, Bombay Mint, Madras Mint, or later Lahore Mint, each facility leaving subtle stylistic fingerprints that modern numismatists study closely, as differences in strike sharpness, metal color, and die alignment often distinguish one mint's output from another. And historically, the 1 anna played a critical role in wage payments for laborers, soldiers, and railway workers, where daily or weekly earnings were often calculated in annas rather than rupees, giving the coin's psychological significance as a unit of measurable effort and reward, while during periods of inflation, war, or metal shortages, particularly during World War I and World War II, the composition and availability of the 1 anna coin shifted, sometimes leading to hoarding, emergency issues, or increased whereas coins remained in circulation longer than intended, and these economic pressures are visible today in the heavily circulated survivors that dominate the market, contrasting sharply with rare uncirculated examples that escaped use and now command attention from serious collectors, especially those bearing low mintage years, sharp details, or unusual die varieties. And beyond economics, the 1 anna coin also intersected with political movements, as nationalist sentiments grew and colonial imagery became a point of resistance, leading some people to deface monarch portraits or hoard coins as silent protest, while others simply continued to rely on the anna system out of necessity until independence and eventual decimalization rendered it obsolete, transforming the 1 anna from a living unit of exchange into a historical artifact, yet its legacy endures through family collections, archaeological finds, and oral histories where elders recall buying sweets, newspapers, or tram tickets with a single anna, embedding the coin deeply into cultural memory. And for modern collectors, the 1 anna represents accessibility and depth, offering countless date ranges, ruler types, mint variations, and condition challenges that make it ideal for long-term collecting goals, while also serving as a tangible reminder of how currency shapes daily life, authority, and identity across generations. The 1 anna coin occupies a deeply significant place in the monetary and cultural history of the Indian subcontinent, serving not merely as a unit of exchange but as a reflection of colonial administration, economic transition, artistic evolution, and everyday life across generations. And as British authority consolidated its control over India, the 1 anna became a standardized fractional denomination within the rupee system, where 16 annas equaled 1 rupee, making it a coin that touched nearly every hand regardless of social class, from bustling bazaars in Calcutta and Bombay to rural villages where agriculture and trade formed the backbone of survival, and the introduction of machine-struck 1 anna coins marked a pivotal shift away from earlier hand-struck and regional currencies, reinforcing imperial control through uniformity in weight, size, and metal composition, most commonly copper or bronze, chosen for durability and cost efficiency, while the coin's design language communicated authority and legitimacy, often featuring the reigning British monarch on the obverse, such as Queen Victoria, Edward VII, George V, or George VI, rendered in formal European portraiture styles that contrasted sharply with indigenous artistic traditions, yet were deliberately imposed to symbolize imperial dominance, while the reverse designs frequently incorporated wreaths, crowns, floral motifs, and inscriptions in English alongside Persian or later Devanagari and other regional scripts, reflecting both administrative necessity and political strategy, and over time, subtle changes in typography, metal composition, rim style, and diameter reveal a fascinating chronology of minting practices across Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, and Lahore mints, each identifiable by distinct mint marks that today play a crucial role in numismatic study. As the 1 anna circulated during periods of immense historical transformation including the Indian Rebellion of 1857, the formal establishment of the British Raj, the rise of nationalist movements, 2 world wars, and the gradual march toward independence, meaning that every surviving specimen silently witnessed moments of upheaval and resilience, and economically the coin functioned as a workhorse denomination, commonly used for daily necessities such as food, transport, and labor wages, making its wear patterns particularly telling, as heavily circulated examples often display smooth surfaces and softened details, while higher-grade survivors offer remarkable insight into original strike quality and mint craftsmanship, and collectors today closely examine these features to assess originality and preservation, while the metal shortages during wartime led to changes in alloy composition and thickness, creating varieties that are now keenly sought after, and the 1 anna's role extended beyond economics into cultural memory, as it frequently appears in literature, oral histories, and idiomatic expressions that evoke simplicity, frugality, or the value of small amounts, underscoring its deep integration into everyday consciousness. And as India moved closer to independence, the symbolism embedded in coinage became increasingly significant, setting the stage for post-colonial redesigns that would eventually eliminate imperial imagery altogether. But during its long circulation, the 1 anna remained a constant presence, bridging eras and identities, and from a numismatic perspective, studying this coin offers an unparalleled window into mint technology evolution, colonial policy, regional production differences, and socio-economic realities, making it far more than a minor denomination, but rather a historical document struck in metal, preserved through time, and increasingly appreciated by collectors worldwide who recognize that its true value lies not only in rarity or condition, but in the layered stories it carries from markets, mint floors, and moments that shaped the modern subcontinent. The 1 anna coin continued its journey through some of the most transformative decades in the Indian subcontinent, evolving quietly alongside sweeping political, economic, and social changes that reshaped daily life for millions, and by the late 19th and early 20th centuries the coin had become far more than a simple unit of currency, serving instead as a silent witness to colonial administration, industrial expansion, and the gradual awakening of nationalist sentiment, with British India relying heavily on the 1 anna denomination for everyday transactions ranging from village markets and railway platforms to urban trade centers where clerks, laborers, and merchants handled these coins countless times each day. And as minting technology improved, subtle changes appeared in strike quality, rim strength, and lettering clarity, reflecting the modernization of mints in Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras, while wartime pressures during World War I and World War II caused fluctuations in metal availability that directly impacted composition, leading to issues struck in copper-nickel or bronze alloys instead of traditional copper. And these material changes today allow collectors to instantly place a coin within a specific historical window, making the 1 anna a powerful educational artifact rather than just a collectible, as the coin's design remained intentionally conservative, reinforcing imperial stability while quietly adapting to logistical realities. And yet despite its colonial symbolism, the 1 anna became deeply embedded in Indian cultural memory, often referenced in folk sayings, literature, and everyday speech as a symbol of modest value but real purchasing power, especially in rural areas where even a single anna could buy essential goods, sweets, or services. And as independence movements gained momentum in the early 20th century, the 1 anna circulated through hands that would later shape history, passing between farmers, freedom fighters, shopkeepers, and students alike, accumulating where that now tells a story of intense circulation rather than neglect, which is precisely why heavily circulated examples remain historically meaningful despite lower numismatic grades, while higher-grade survivors from this era are particularly prized due to their scarcity, as most coins were used extensively rather than saved, and post-1947 independence brought a philosophical shift in Indian coinage, gradually phasing out anna-based denominations in favor of the decimal system, marking the end of the 1 anna as a circulating coin and transforming it into a relic of a bygone monetary structure. And this transition period produced some of the most interesting varieties as older dies were used alongside new policies, creating minor inconsistencies in strike depth, spacing, and alignment that modern collectors carefully study. And today the 1 anna coin occupies a unique position in numismatics because it bridges colonial rule and emerging national identity, offering tangible proof of how everyday money adapts to political change, economic pressure, and societal transformation. And for collectors around the world the appeal lies not just in rarity or metal content but in narrative weight, because each coin carries the marks of history etched through decades of use, policy shifts, and human exchange, making the 1 anna one of the most emotionally resonant and historically layered coins from the Indian subcontinent, valued not merely for what it is made of, but for what it represents in the long and complex story of India's monetary evolution. As collectors move deeper into the 1 anna series, attention naturally shifts from general history to the specific dates, mint varieties, errors, and survival patterns that define real numismatic value, because while the 1 anna was produced in large quantities overall, not all issues were created equal, and many dates that appear common on paper are surprisingly scarce in collectible condition due to intense circulation, climatic damage, and metal corrosion, especially for copper and bronze. Issues stored in humid environments across the Indian subcontinent, making high-grade examples from the 19th and early 20th centuries exceptionally difficult to locate today, particularly those retaining original surfaces, sharp legends, and intact rims, and among the most sought-after issues are early Queen Victoria 1 anna coins from the mid-1800s, especially those struck with bold detail and minimal wear, as these represent the foundation of British Indian fractional coinage. While later Edward VII and George V issues attract collectors due to their transitional nature and the subtle design refinements introduced during their reigns, with mint marks playing a critical role in valuation, as coins struck at Calcutta often differ in strike strength and die alignment compared to Bombay or Madras issues, creating identifiable characteristics that specialists learn to recognize instantly. And mint-marked 1 anna coins, particularly those from smaller production runs, command premiums even in mid-grade conditions, while error coins such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, weak legends, rotated dies, and overstrikes remain highly desirable because they provide insight into minting conditions rather than intentional design, and these errors were rarely preserved at the time, making genuine examples scarce today, especially when paired with legible dates and monarch portraits. And another important factor in valuation is metal composition, as wartime alloy changes produced coins with noticeably different weights, colors, and magnetic properties, which advanced collectors actively seek to complete composition-based subsets, while post-independence transitional 1 anna issues represent the final chapter of the denomination and are increasingly recognized as historically important rather than merely common, especially as fewer high-quality examples remain available on the open market, and grading plays a decisive role in modern pricing, with professionally graded 1 anna coins showing dramatic value jumps between fine, very fine, extremely fine, and uncirculated levels, because most surviving coins cluster in lower grades due to heavy use, meaning that any coin exhibiting sharp details, smooth fields, and minimal environmental damage stands out immediately. And auction records over the past decade reveal a steady upward trend for premium 1 anna examples, particularly those with clear provenance, rare mint marks, or exceptional eye appeal, signaling growing global interest not just from Indian collectors but from world coin enthusiasts who appreciate the denomination's role in colonial and post-colonial monetary history. And as older collections are absorbed into the market and fewer untouched hoards remain, supply continues to tighten while demand slowly increases, positioning the 1 anna coin as a sleeper collectible with long-term potential rather than a speculative novelty. And for serious numismatists, the appeal lies in building date and mint sets, era collections, or high-grade type examples that preserve the story of a denomination that once powered everyday commerce across an entire subcontinent, making the 1 anna not just a coin to own, but a piece of history to study, preserve, and pass forward. The story of the 1 anna coin reaches its most fascinating and emotionally powerful phase when collectors begin to uncover the rare varieties, minting anomalies, survival rates, and hidden market values that transformed this once ordinary piece of colonial currency into a respected and sometimes highly valuable numismatic treasure. Because while millions of 1 anna coins were struck during British India's long monetary history, only a fraction survived the brutal realities of circulation, metal recycling, climate damage, political transitions, and post-independence currency reforms, making well-preserved examples increasingly scarce with each passing decade, and among these survivors certain dates, mint locations, and metal compositions stand far above the rest, particularly early copper issues from the East India Company period where weak strikes, off-center legends, double die effects, cracked dies, and misaligned rims occurred due to primitive minting technology, all of which today are studied carefully by advanced collectors who understand that even a small variation in lettering size, border bead count, or die orientation can mean the difference between a common coin and a rare discovery worth many times its face value, especially 1 anna coins from the early 1800s bearing the company's emblem, where sharp details, full legends, and original surfaces can command strong prices at auction, while later Queen Victoria and King George issues introduce their own rarity spectrum through low mintage years, short-lived design changes, metal shortages during wartime, and mint-mark distinctions between Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras that are often overlooked by beginners but instantly recognized by seasoned numismatists. And as the series progressed into the 20th century, transitional years such as the 1918 to 1922 copper shortages produced coins with altered weight standards and alloy adjustments that today form an important study category within the 1 anna lineage, with certain 1940s wartime issues showing planchet flaws, lamination errors, and strike weakness caused by rushed production, making high-grade examples particularly difficult to locate, while proof and specimen strikes produced for official records or ceremonial purposes remain among the most elusive and valuable pieces of all, rarely appearing on the market and often locked away in private collections or institutional archives. And when these coins do surface, auction results have shown that pristine 1 anna coins with original mint luster, minimal corrosion, and strong eye appeal can achieve prices far beyond what many casual observers would expect from a coin once used to buy daily necessities, proving that historical context, condition, and scarcity together determine value far more than denomination alone, and beyond pure monetary worth. The 1 anna coin carries immense cultural and emotional significance for collectors across South Asia and the global Indian diaspora, as it represents a tangible link to everyday life under colonial rule, the economic struggles and adaptations of ordinary people, and the long journey toward independence that eventually rendered this coin obsolete yet historically immortal, which is why demand continues to grow among collectors who appreciate not just the metal but the story embedded within it. And as modern numismatics increasingly values authenticity, provenance, and historical relevance, the 1 anna coin stands proudly as a symbol of endurance, transition, and shared heritage, reminding us that even the smallest denomination can carry the weight of an empire, the voice of a generation, and the memory of a vanished monetary world that still speaks clearly through copper and time, making it not merely a collectible but a preserved fragment of history that continues to inspire curiosity, scholarship, and admiration among collectors worldwide. Thanks for watching.